The decision to strike. The cavernous war room aboard the human flagship was a hive of activity, the overhead lights casting shimmering reflections on the metallic surfaces. At the center stood a large holographic table, displaying an intricate map of Orillian Prime and its major installations. Around it, senior officers whispered in hurried conversations, waiting for Captain Carter to speak. Captain Carter stepped forward, silencing the room. His stern face, scarred from previous skirmishes, was a testament to his years in service.
"Never let them know your next move,"
he began, his voice echoing through the room. The officers fixed their eyes on him, the weight of his words bearing down on them.
"We've been underestimated and toyed with for far too long,"
he continued.
"The Orillians believe that their ancient civilization and their superior technology give them the right to trample over younger races. They couldn't be more wrong."
One of the officers, Commander Lena, nodded, her expression hard.
"We've been pushed to the edge, sir. They took our people, destroyed our colonies, and now they think they can intimidate us into submission. It's time they learned a lesson."
Carter's eyes scanned the room, taking in the resolute faces of his crew.
"Our intelligence has given us a golden opportunity. We know the location, the defenses, and the key players. We strike directly at the heart of the Orillian Empire, their council on Orillian Prime."
Murmurs of surprise and approval rippled through the room. Attacking the Orillian home planet was bold, even reckless, but it could also be a game-changer. Lieutenant Rios, the fleet's chief strategist, activated a series of simulations on the holographic table.
Orillian Prime is heavily defended. Their planetary shield alone can withstand prolonged bombardment. But we've found a weak point, a chink in their armor.
The hologram zoomed in on a section of the planet, highlighting a series of defense nodes.
A coordinated strike on these nodes will temporarily disable the shield, allowing a window for our ground troops to breach their defenses.
Captain Carter nodded in agreement.
"Our objective is clear. We take out the council, cripple their leadership, shatter their morale. We need to send a message that humanity is not to be trifled with."
Commander Lena leaned over the table.
"By hitting them where it hurts the most, we have a chance to end this conflict before it even begins, saving countless lives."
Captain Carter sighed deeply, his gaze distant.
"It's a heavy burden, making a call that could define the fate of millions. But it's a decision we must make for the greater good of both our races. If we can end this with one decisive strike, we might just prevent a war that could devastate the galaxy."
The room was thick with anticipation. Every officer knew the magnitude of the mission they were about to embark on. The risks were high, but the rewards even higher.
"Set course for Orillian Prime,"
Captain Carter ordered.
"We move out in 3 hours. Prepare your teams, and may fortune favor us all."
With that, the officers dispersed, heading to their respective posts to begin preparations. As the flagship's engines roared to life, a sense of purpose and determination filled the air. The countdown to the confrontation had begun. Doubts and warnings. The vast halls of the Orillian Council chamber buzzed with activity, the grand architecture reflecting the ancient traditions and wisdom of the Orillian race. Towering columns, intricately carved, bore witness to thousands of years of civilization and decisions that had shaped the course of the galaxy. Captain Dranit strode purposefully into the room, his usually composed demeanor replaced with one of urgency. Members of the council were gathered, deep in whispered conversations, their expressions a mix of concern and disbelief.
"Esteemed council members,"
Dranit began, his voice strong and resonating.
"The threat we face is not a minor skirmish or a simple territorial dispute. The humans have made their intentions clear. They are coming for us, and we need to be prepared."
A council elder, Zorath, rose from his seat, his aged eyes looking down at Dranit with a mix of annoyance and curiosity.
"Captain, while your dedication to our people is commendable, we must not let fear dictate our actions. We are the Orillians, keepers of peace and knowledge. Our history has taught us the value of dialogue over conflict."
Dranit, frustrated, countered,
"With all due respect, Elder Zorath, the humans are not seeking dialogue. They've already made their first move."
There was an uneasy silence in the chamber. Councilwoman Talaris, known for her diplomatic approaches, spoke up.
"Perhaps this is a show of strength, a demonstration rather than an actual threat. We should consider reaching out, extending an olive branch."
Before Dranit could respond, an urgent chime echoed throughout the chamber. An officer approached with a handheld device, its screen flashing red with an incoming transmission.
Captain Dranit, you need to see this.
Dranit's eyes widened as he read the report.
A listening post on the edge of our space has detected multiple FTL signatures, all on a direct path to Orillian Prime. Estimated time of arrival, 8 hours.
The chamber erupted in clamor. Council members shouted over each other, fear and confusion evident on their faces. Elder Zorath, his face now ashen, said,
This is unprecedented. How did we not see this coming?
Dranit stepped forward, his tone more urgent than ever.
We have no time to ponder our mistakes. Right now, our primary concern should be the defense of our world and our people.
Councilwoman Talaris took a deep breath, her usual calm demeanor shaken.
We should initiate emergency protocols, evacuate the major cities.
Dranit slammed his hand on the podium.
Evacuation will cause panic. What we need is a united front, a show of strength. We can still defend our home.
After a tense pause, Zorath nodded reluctantly.
Very well, Captain Dranit. The Council grants you full control of the military. Do whatever is necessary to protect Orillian Prime.
With a determined nod, Dranit left the chamber, his mind racing with strategies and plans. As he stepped into the hallway, the weight of responsibility pressing heavily on him, he couldn't help but wonder if it was already too late to avoid the storm that was coming their way. Preparing for confrontation. The skies above Orillian Prime shimmered with the azure and golden hues of the setting suns, but beneath the serene beauty, the planet was a beehive of activity. Battlecruisers launched from planetary bases, forming protective barriers in the atmosphere, while ground troops took positions around key locations. The once tranquil planet was now gearing up for a confrontation of unparalleled proportions. Captain Dranit stood on the bridge of the flagship the Titan, watching the swirling star patterns as they prepared for the human armada's arrival. His crew hurriedly worked at their stations, coordinating with other ships and adjusting their defenses.
Captain,
a voice came from behind him. It was Lieutenant Kreln, his trusted advisor.
the defenses are in place, but our intelligence indicates that the humans have made significant advancements in their weaponry. We might be outmatched.
Dranit nodded, his expression grim.
We knew this day might come, Lieutenant. The humans are determined, but so are we. We have home field advantage and the will to protect our people.
Meanwhile, aboard the human flagship, Captain Carter was holding a final strategy meeting with his senior officers. The holographic display in front of them showed Orillian Prime and the surrounding space, marked with potential threats and targets.
We have one shot at this,
Carter began.
Our goal is to cripple their command center, but we need to avoid unnecessary casualties. This is not about revenge, it's about establishing our place in the galaxy.
His officers nodded in agreement, each aware of the weight of their mission. Back on Orillian Prime, emergency broadcasts filled the airwaves, instructing civilians on safety protocols and urging calm. The Orillian Council, under the guidance of Elder Zorath, coordinated evacuations and prepared for potential diplomatic negotiations. Despite the looming threat, there was a sense of unity and determination among the Orillians. With the estimated arrival of the human armada just hours away, Captain Dranit made a broadcast to his fleet.
Soldiers of Orillia, today we stand united against a formidable adversary. But remember, we are not just defending our planet. We are defending our way of life, our history, our future. Let our unity be our strength.
As the final moments drew near, a tense silence enveloped the cosmos. Space seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the inevitable clash. Then, just as suddenly as the silence had descended, alarms blared across Orillian ships. The human fleet had emerged from FTL travel, their numbers casting shadows across the stars. Captain Carter's voice rang out, addressing not just his fleet, but broadcasting to the Orillian forces as well.
Orillian vessels, this is Captain Carter of the Human Armada. We do not wish for widespread destruction, but we will take the actions necessary to ensure our place in this galaxy. Stand down, and we can discuss a peaceful resolution.
Back on the Titan, Dranit listened to Carter's message, his face inscrutable. With a deep breath, he gave his response.
Captain Carter, this is Captain Dranit of the Orillian Defense Fleet. We will defend our home. The choice is yours.
After a moment of palpable silence, Captain Carter's voice, now edged with a touch of sorrow, came back over the comm.
So be it.
The ambient noise on the human Armada flagship seemed to quieten as Carter turned to his bridge crew. his eyes hardening with determination.
Raise shields, power up phasers, ready torpedoes,
He ordered, each word dripping with the weight of the imminent battle. His crew immediately sprang into action, preparing for the imminent confrontation. In that split second, both leaders understood the gravity of their decisions, knowing the next hours would shape the destiny of their respective races. The stage was set for a clash of titans,